Is it hard to evaluate your defense when you score 129 and a half points in 2 games? You scored a lot, you gave up some. Is it tough to figure out how well your defense played in those 2 games?
Not really. Obviously the pace at which we're trying to play, we're going to give up points. Probably the biggest problem the last 2 games is our inability to defend without fouling. We're putting teams on the foul line at a very high rate, which has to be better. But overall, I think field goal percentage defense in the last 2 games has been solid. 3-point defense has been okay. Obviously, Portland got going in that fourth quarter, but aside from that fourth quarter, the 3-point defense has been pretty good as well. So, no, I think we're able to kind of look at where we're at defensively and what's giving us trouble.
But what do you emphasize when you tell them defend without fouling? What's the focus on there?
Well, obviously, we always preach, you want to slide your feet, use your chest, and show your hands. And you go back to the last 2 games, how many times we have fouled jump shooters? You go back into the fourth quarter against Portland, and we fouled 3 jump shooters for 3-point shots. So obviously we have to be more disciplined, stay on your feet, and defend with like I said, your feet and your chest, and show your hands to the official. And we have to do a lot better job in that area.
And what concerns you most about Dallas tonight?
Their 3-point shooting. They're a team that gives up a lot of threes, and they've been shooting it very well, 40% in the last 5 games. They take over 30 a night. So we have to find their shooters. Obviously, on the offensive end, turnovers really hurt us down there last week, 16 for 27 points. And we have to understand how we're being guarded. They're last in the league in 3-point defense, but they're one of the best teams in terms of guarding the paint. They really collapse and shrink. We cannot play in tight spaces and try to force feed the ball into the paint. Take what's there and take the open shot.
One more. Did you see the Duncan retirement ceremony? What'd you think?
I did not see it, so I really can't tell you what I thought.
Coach, how essential is pace tonight? I know that you always are preaching it, but Dallas plays tends to play pretty slow, and we fell into it in the last game.
Yeah, it's important. On the year we're 8-3 when we win the first quarter. Last 2 games we're averaging 35 points in the first quarter and holding teams to 25. Playing very good defense in that first quarter as well. So we want to get out and run, and I think that's been the key to our last 2 games, is that early on our defense has been really solid, and we've been able to run off that defense and get easy baskets, and we've had great ball movement. So if we can continue to play the same way, hopefully we can get our pace into the game and not make it a half-court game, which would be to their advantage.
What does Emmanuel have to do to string together a couple real consistent games in a row after a really well-rounded game against New York?
Play well, and do what he did last game. He was aggressive, he shot the ball well, he was a playmaker, he was a rebounder. And then with his size and physicality, those are things that he should be able to do almost every night. And obviously I think having Gary back is kind of giving him some mental relief, if you will. I mean, he loves playing with Gary, and there's a sense of confidence there. But when Emmanuel's aggressive, when he values the ball, when he makes his teammates better, and most importantly, when he rebounds, I think he has a chance to be one of the better rebounding guards in the NBA. He brings his game to another level. And so really just kind of replicate what he did last game against New York.
You guys have a chance to win 3 in a row for the first time all season tonight, and I mean, I know you want to win every game, but how big is tonight, especially with a tough 3-game stretch coming up?
Yeah, it's we'd love to close out the homestand 3-0 and playing the right way. We feel good about ourselves right now after a very disappointing road trip out east, going 2-4. To come back and go 3-0 at home would be great. Obviously, as you mentioned, we have a tough bunch of games coming up, so you have to win the games at home that you're supposed to win. Dallas, for whatever reason, has struggled on the road this year. I believe they're 1-12. We just got to come out and play the way we've played recently and understand why we've had success. Don't get bored with that. Continue to play that way, and hopefully we can get another win.
Coach, you probably have a full roster of guys again. I was curious, a couple of games ago you said you went to Darrell Arthur and told him you're not going to play tonight. Do you have to do that every night now? And is it always Darrell, or can it be somebody else?
No, not every night, because I'm trying to get us into a rhythm. And so I don't want it to be game by game where we're just changing up the rotation. As I told Darrell, we're going to try to go with this rotation for a little while and see where it takes us. Now, last game, DA wound up playing. We had foul trouble across the board with Nicola and Gallo and Wilson, so I was forced to play DA. But right now, the plan is to go with the group that we've been using, and everybody else has to stay ready if they're called upon.
Nicola on board with no silly fouls tonight?
So he says. So he says. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Stay tuned.